Hi, I'm Mike Thompson. This brick here has no identifying marks whatsoever. I would like it to have some identifying marks for friends and especially the mailman and anyone else that might need to deliver something to the right spot. So I'm going to make some numbers here for these bricks. The question is, how to do it? Well, I could 3D print something. I could make something out of wood. 3D printing would be kind of cool because I could get any shape possible. But I think I'm going to go with metal casting. So we're going to do it out of aluminum. Let's get going. So I start out by screwing this temporary bottom here to my hinged flask. I'm going to flip it over and set it like so inside here. And it holds it very nicely. That way I can pack the sand in there really tight and get this stuff. Okay, next. I'm just going to dump a bunch of sand in here. Now I think this sifted sand will be better for the top layer, so I'm going to, well, maybe not. I'm using my little screed here to help pack this top layer down and sift the layer here finally on top so I can get to the fine detail that I need. Now these numbers, I'm trying to figure out here how I want them. I think just like so, then I'll press them in. Because of these little posts on the back, I'm not able to do it like I normally would. And so this is a little bit different, but I think I can force them in there and get them flush with the sand. It's kind of tight. I'm using my little hard maple stick here. I can force the 5 down in here and get it cleaned off. It's not too bad. It was a little bit more difficult, but these letters are tapered at 10 degrees, and so it was not too bad. But I can just force that in there like so. Now it's moving a little bit. I'll get it in there. And then very gently I'm cleaning it off. Now the 9 here, I've got to pack this all down because it moved the sand a little bit, and I want that fine detail there in that little crook of the 9. So, and then just very carefully I'm cleaning off the edge here. And then brushing every last little bit away, pin by pin. These little pins are going to be the standoffs. I'll put the top of the box on here, and then I need to fill it with sand, but first I need to dust it so that it comes apart later. So I've got some parting compound here, which is just, I'm not sure what it is. It's probably like talc or something, but it's in an old sock here of Alex's. And that'll keep the sand from sticking together so I can pull the mold back apart, like so. I'm going to put my 2 risers here, I think. It's just 1-inch PVC pipe. I'm going to sift this first layer so that I don't get clumps. I always want the pieces touching my parts to be sifted sand. But since those little standoff pins aren't tapered, it's probably going to not work as well as I would like, but I'm not too worried about it because I can always clean it up. There we go. Clean those up, and then I need to remove them. Very carefully here. Okay, and tamp that down so that extra sand doesn't fall in there when I go to pour. I don't think I'm going to make a longer spout this time. And then I can screw this temporary top on so I can flip it over after I remove it here. And I'm using the back side of this little paintbrush to actually poke these vents. And these vents, I'm hoping, will function as mounting devices. I'll just drill holes in some brick and poke them in there. Now I'm cutting my pouring well with the spoon. And another one over here in case I need it to pour in 2 places. I don't think I will. Then I'll cut these gates. You always want your gates and everything to be, the part should be the smallest part. Your risers and your gates must be bigger so that they solidify last. And there's the gate there for the 0, because you kind of have to think in 3 dimensions of how parts are going to solidify and shrink. I'll prep my little sand bed here, pouring. You can see there's a hole melted in the back from a previous pour some time ago. Get it all nice and leveled here, and add a couple more little muffins to the pile. You always want to make sure you have enough. That's why I have that bread pan and the muffin pan to catch the excess. You never want to run short of metal. So I'm going to put a bunch in here. All right, and now I can remove, ooh, nice. All right, that just came out, piece of cake. And of course these were on there to help, not only the standoffs, so that the numbers are, away from the house, but they allow little handles here so I don't have to put screws in the back or something like that. And kind of just touch up the mold here a bit, and then put the top part back on. This is very nerve-wracking because I've had one or two tops just fall out on me, and then you have to repack everything. I'll set it down here. That looks pretty good. All right. Then I gotta unscrew the top. Moment of truth. Yeah. Oh, look at that. It flowed through the whole thing. And all my little vent pins are full of metal. Excellent. Haha! You can see there's that little pin. Now, they're not all the same length. They're not all up to the surface. You can see these three over here. The ones farthest from where I poured are actually the tallest. And then Alex here just
so which means we can hang them today.
Maybe. He wanted to do it the hard way.
So are we just going to drill holes?
And there's these three. Got one to go. See, that turned out pretty nice. Then I just got to cut off the gates and everything. Not bad. Now I like to pour at 750 because that gives me about a 100-degree buffer to keep it more fluid and flow better. Now here's the 2 and an experimental heatsink I was trying to pour. Oh, well, that leaked, but... So you can see all those little round holes there in a grid pattern. I was trying to make a pin heatsink that's about 3 inches square with a whole bunch of little pins in a hexagonal pattern. But as you'll see here in just a second, that just didn't work. And so that was a little bit disappointing. So I'll pour these muffin and bread pan over here. Get rid of my excess. Had a lot there. I'm not sure why that leaked right there. Must have had some extra sand in places. But oh well. I'll recycle that. Let this cool here for a little while. But it looks like a pretty good pour. I hope the 2 at least got cast. The heatsink was more of just a weird experiment. But I used the backside of that brush to make a bunch of holes in the top of this, and hopefully I'll get nice round pins. That didn't work out quite like I had hoped. We got a lot of surface area, but it just, it's not pretty. So I'll recycle this. You can see here, I did not get nice round pins. I got a couple far away from where I poured, but these others are just kind of chopped off and scraggly looking. So, oh well, too bad this didn't work out. You can see the numbers on the house worked out quite well. And everyone involved was very happy. But that's something that really wasn't all that tough. It was quite satisfying and it adds a nice little accent. But go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Mike Thompson, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.